Good day and welcome back to another DB Legends video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at realistically my build for the purple Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Now this guy is pretty nuts. I mean, let's not beat around the bush. This guy is really insane. I think, a lot of people who didn't get him are really feeling it right now. I think a lot of people who did get him are feeling it right now. And I think everyone who's playing at a high or relatively high level of PvP is facing a lot of him right now. So he's everywhere, very much like any Ultra that enters the game, a huge defining moment for DB Legends. They always have an impact. At least most times they have a huge impact, and they have a very big change in the meta. Now, I think one thing that I will say, if you have the yellow Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Vegeta, who becomes Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta, I think you have some kind of counter to Gogeta. It feels like, based on the matches I've played and based on what I've seen, what I've watched, what I'm generally just feeling from the community, feels like that's the best current answer to Gogeta. It's not saying that it's an absolute answer or anything, but that definitely feels like the best current answer against Gogeta. Now, it doesn't mean that he's very much easy to beat, but it feels like that's really your primary point of concern. Now, for Gogeta, we'll talk about him and his abilities in detail, but just showing you them on screen. Also there are some nice equips. So we got some really cool equips on. It is going to depend on what team you're running. I mean, there are some Fusion Warrior centric equips. There are some GT centric equips. It's just going to depend a little bit on your lineup. What are you running? What are you not running? What do you want to run? But I think, for me right now, on this Fusion Warrior team I have, he definitely feels very nice with these equips that I have. So let's talk a little bit about good old Gogeta, and let's really see just how good he is. So right off the bat, one thing I will say, I think for me, Gogeta does have a little bit of a mitigation against his abilities, kind of. It's not so like Gohan. It's not a big change, but it's an understanding that, like, so Ultra Gohan, his counters activate a lot, like, if you charge in and things like that. But his gauge is full and depletes. Whereas Gogeta, the difference is Gogeta's gauge starts empty and only fills up on getting hit. So there is, depending on how much damage and stuff you do, a brief window where you could technically one-shot him. Rising Rush him, maybe absolutely combo him down with yellow Gogeta. Like there is ability to do so, but you have around about 3 chain attacks to do so. So unless you incinerate him with like yellow Gogeta or something, you remember you have to be careful, because otherwise then the counter's going to activate and he's going to heal. But there is that window. The counter also has its limits as well. We'll talk about that now. But I think, outside of that, he does feel very oppressive. And he feels very good damage-wise. Don't really feel key nullification effects against him either. He causes a lot of problems for the opposition. It's just playing. I've played him so many times. Like, I'm playing him with him. So you see a lot of the aspects of, like, Gogeta. You see, like, you're facing him, you see when you're not facing him, you see a lot, you see a lot of these units, you see a lot of this stuff. So I think, like, for me, that's definitely something to consider. But yeah, so let's talk a little bit about, like, Gogeta now. Just kind of talk a bit about those abilities, what are the kind of main focal points. So we've got the main ability, very big. The nullification of unfavorable element factors is huge. The crit rate is huge. Essentially, it's like, so how whenever you hit the blue ultimate card with Super Saiyan Broly, the blue one, and he like instantly kills an enemy. That's literally exactly how Gogeta's feels. So the same feeling you get where you're like, oh, I've hit my main and I'll just now hit my blue ultimate, and whatever that guy throws in the way is dying. It's kind of how you feel with Gogeta's. Whatever they throw in the way, it's kind of dead, or most times is dead. So that blue ultimate and that main ability together really cause a lot of problems. Then kind of stemming into, his other abilities. So the green, also very irritating. Any pushback green is always irritating because it lets people combo so well. It lets them combo in after a vanish step. It lets them combo in just on their normal combo if they just do a dash step forward without breaking it. And it's always irritating because you activate the green, you get damage up, you get key up, you draw 2 more cards when you're 3 or down, and the enemy can't switch. So all of a sudden you 2 or 3 strike or blast attacks, hit a green, and then you can go another 2 or 3 strike or blast attacks, maybe even get a blue card in. You could even get another green. It is very irritating, and like any pushback green, it's very frustrating to play against. Then we have his 2 specials, like I mentioned already, the ultimate ability, but just to kind of mention that a little bit. You also have the arts action on it, where you need to press, and with success, you destroy their cards. Like just leaving it, you destroy all their cards. With like the huge success, you reduce their Dragon Balls, destroy their cards, reduce their key, and by the way, if they revive with 70% less health, which is nuts, actually. So yeah, again, very, very, very stupid. This ultimate feels very stupid. It's very much up there with a lot of the crazy ultimates of like other units. I think this is probably the craziest one. Broly's feels also very crazy with his main ability, like that instant delete factor, and this feels the same, but it absolutely hampers the opponent. And if they somehow live or survive, they just end up dying anyway, because they have no key, no cards. Like, what's it matter? Then talking about the passives, so like I kind of mentioned already, lots of unique stuff going on here. I mean, I'm not going to go into the details, but some of the big stuff is when he's last man standing, he gets that huge damage increase, health restoration increase, even more crit gauge, more unique gauge, nullification of unfavorable element factors permanently. He like recovers his health. It's crazy. And then his unique gauge is really the thing that's so super irritating. So his unique gauge can activate 3 times, and it will stop or counter most enemy arts cards if you're standing still, if you're attacking, moving, or charging key, if you're receiving an attack after switching, changing cover, or during its assists. So, like, it's really nuts. Not to mention, on top of that, you destroy all your enemy's cards. When the counter activates, you cancel the enemy's upgrade attribute mechanics, you seal all the enemy's main abilities, and you restore your own key. It's all really crazy. The only good thing it doesn't do, and I will say this, is it doesn't restore vanishing gauge. So if it did that, I think he would be broken forever. Like, I think if you added in that vanishing gauge refresh, even if it was like 50%, I think he would I think there's not much you could actually do against him, because at that point he's just he's just getting out of hand, really. There's not a lot you can do. I mean, there's not a lot you can do against him as is. He's not a unit that has a lot of simple solutions to him. He feels very, very overwhelming, and right now there's not a ton of great yellow options. I mean, Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta is definitely the best one by far, and it's very obvious he is, which is why you're seeing him run so much. But he's run on the same team as Gogeta, so like, okay, so you run him and Gogeta to counter another person's Gogeta and Gogeta, and then you have Ultra Vegito that's also just kind of there. So there's a lot of, like, I think we're going to see, especially if people are running Fusion Warrior, same lineups. I don't see there being a lot of twists and turns in the Future Warrior future.